Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Kent. My name is Christina Church and I have the pleasure and the privilege of serving this brilliantly musical and joyful community on this Music Sunday. So welcome, welcome. We're so glad for you to join us as we go on this creative and musical journey together this morning. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. We're so glad that you're here. And we invite you to find one of these in the pews. It should be in the back of the seat. These little cards that you can fill out and let us know your contact info so we can share all the wonderful things that are happening in our community that we'd love for you to be a part of. And if you've been here a million times, thanks for coming back. Good to see you again. For everyone, we also have these yellow cards, and if you have a big joy or a big sorrow that your heart is longing to share with us today, you can turn these in up here at the pulpit or give them to one of the ushers as they come by and have your joy and sorrow shared with the community. We are not just an IRL community in real life. We're not just an embodied community today here in this room, but we also are joined by our virtual beloveds who are here via the magic of Zoom and the magic of Hobbs Hall, because our elevator, unfortunately, is still, we're still waiting on that part. So we have an overflow in Hobbs today with folks joining us who would be more comfortable there. So we want to say hello to all of our beloveds. Hello, you can see that camera over there on the wall and wave to our loved ones. We're glad you're here with us. We have a ton of things to tell you, but I'm going to go through them real quick because we want to get to the music, right? We consider a different monthly ministry theme each month, and this month we're considering the theme of trust. What do we trust? What do we put our trust in our lives? We also have a couple of announcements. One of them is that the pancake breakfast is coming up and we need volunteers. So I thought I saw Kurt a little bit earlier, the man in the, he's not in the beret anymore, but that's Kurt. You can see him for more info about that. And now I want to invite Brad Bolden up for another sharing about a way that you can contribute to our community.
So, I have a question for you. How many of us came to this church first because we'd gone through a life-changing event? Yep. I first came through those doors as I was facing a divorce, only because I knew two people here who I felt comfortable with. I'd had no real friends in my whole life, and I needed a friend now more than ever. But as I hung around coffee hour, I began to meet people who seemed kind of like me, an experience I rarely had. Go figure. I was asked to join the Geezers, a popular music group back then in church. People here I found were inquisitive, intelligent, and artistic, kind of like the me I was growing up to be. The other quality many had here was, and is, being in a committed relationship with a significant other. This may seem like an unremarkable observation, but I had spent years in short-term relationships with women and was raised in an emotionally distant family. I was now spending time with people who knew how to partner and witnessing their interactions in church and in their homes. The people in this church became mentors to me, and by their example, I was finding out, so this is how relationships are done. I grew into deeper relationship with people here and a deeper relationship with my own true self. Now, don't feel left out because you and I are not close friends. I have learned from casual observations of all of you. Maybe you were holding hands, maybe you were laughing with your spouse. Any number of little things I took home with me as meaningful. So how should we value this type of growth experience? How much money would you pay a therapist to gain this knowledge? And what if, after having grown emotionally because of the people here, you met your forever partner, like I did? How much is that worth? Well, I don't have that kind of money. But I'm willing to do my part to keep this church growing. It's my way of paying back for what I've gained. And it's glorious.
Thank you, Brad, and thanks to the Celtic Clan of Kent for that beautiful music that brought us into the worship service. And now sit back, let's move into a deeper place of worship and of enjoyment as we celebrate all things musical today.
My dad, Howie, if you don't know him. I'm so glad he's here today. And you all know Brad, of course. People say to me, oh, you gotta be crazy. How can you sing in times like these? Don't you read the news? Don't you know the score? How can you sing when so many others grieve? People say to me, what kind of fool believes that a song will make a difference in the end? By way of a reply, I say a fool such as I, who sees a song as somewhere to begin. A song is somewhere to begin, the search for something worth believing in. If changes are to come, there are things that must be done, and a song is somewhere to begin. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you, friends. My name is Emily Hall, and I serve this congregation as the Director of Music Ministries, which is my joy and privilege. And I get to make music with beautiful people like you'll hear and see all day today. And I've been doing a lot of reflecting about what my role is as a musician and a creative person in times like these when there's so much disruption and so many intense challenges for so many people. Part of me wonders, like one of those voices in that song, is it coming from a place of privilege to be a musician when there are difficult times? Does it speak to some kind of foolishness or lack of connection to reality to invest time and energy in courting creativity? And there's also this other deep part of my spirit that resonates with creativity as a connection with the Spirit, that understands the important work creativity and music have in weaving together our communities to be strong and resilient. And I wanted to invite up a member of our youth to share why music is so important. We have a first service where it's a all ages service, and some of our youth shared this morning, and I thought it would be lovely for you to hear some of their voices this morning too about why is music important and what does music mean to you. Caleb, do you want to come up? You can come up here if you want.
Music is just, ever since I started to sing, I realized that when you sing the first time, you struggle a little bit, but then more you practice and practice more, you start feel proud of yourself, proud of your own family. Your family be like, wow, my son or daughter's in choir. I am proud of him and her. And so when I was 6 years old, I started in choir, and I never quit choir because, well, when I was 6 years old, I was really wanting to be until I practiced more and more of time, different times and times. Music is just means everything to me. Music is just like so very confident for you. It's a hard time. Like, music is really hard when you get in your first time to sing, but more you practice, the more you get better at the music.
Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Caleb. And Raphael, would you like to say some words too?
So music to me is really everything. A lot of, sorry, I'm a little sick. A lot of my friend groups in life have come from musical theater, and I've played piano since I was, I don't even remember how old I was when I started playing piano, and I picked up violin in 4th grade, and music to me is really just everything. Like, I can't imagine my life without music because it would just be so different, and I probably wouldn't recognize myself at all.
Thank you, Raphael. So, as we've heard, being in community and musical community is something that brings richness to us, and it's also something that we get to do together. It's I see it as our way of dreaming together, our way of dreaming things into existence together, and imagining what the world could be like with all the pieces that we have to offer. So part of the work of creativity, I think, is allowing us to dream. A dream is somewhere to begin, the search for something worth believing in. If changes are to come, there are things that must be done, and a dream is somewhere to begin. And in my collaboration with all of my colleagues and musical friends, and my work with all of you in community, love always appears. Part of the work of creativity and music is bringing us songs. Part of the work of creativity and music is allowing us to dream. And part of the work of creativity and music is freeing us to love. So as we light our shared chalice, which is alive with the legacy of our love for this community and for our world, and for the values that we care about, as we light this chalice, let's sing together. People say to me, oh, you gotta be crazy. How can you love in times like these? Don't you read the news? Don't you know the score? How can you love when so many others grieve? people say to me, what kind of fool believes that love will make a difference in the end? By way of a reply, I say a fool such as I, who sees love as somewhere to begin. Join in singing with us. Love is somewhere to begin. The search for something worth believing in. If changes are to come, there are things that must be done. And love is somewhere, and a dream is somewhere, and a song is somewhere to begin.
Music and worship are both about the patterns we weave, the notes that we share, and the silences between them. So today, as we consider the spiritual gift of music, let us ground ourselves in music's constant companion, silence, the place from which sound arises. It is the rests, those pauses between notes, that create the rhythms in music and in our lives. So let's take a fermata together, friends. Let us pause and attend to the world within now, to breathe deeply, to notice the rhythm of our heartbeats, to calm the cacophony we bring that ever seeks our attention elsewhere, and to center into the quiet blessings of this moment.
This song was composed for and debuted for a morning worship service during a conference in 2001. As the story goes, it had been rainy and gray all week long, but when the time came to debut this song, the sun came out and shone gloriously through the chapel windows. The power of music, right? So please rise in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn, number 1000, Morning Has Come, which you'll find in your teal hymnal, and the words will be on the screen.
Our story this morning is called Sing a Song by Joseph G. Raposo. Here we have three little friends. Let's call them Joe, Mo, and Lo. Looks like Lo's learning how to sing. Let's see what happens next. Oh, in the singing, Lo takes flight, leaving her two friends behind. But not for long. Looks like Mo's gonna start singing too. And maybe that lifts Mo, but looks like Joe got left behind. Looks like, Joe opened his mouth to sing and nothing came out. Have you ever felt that kind of disappointment or sadness in your life? Yeah, me too. And so he tries really hard over here, and nothing comes out. That's a really hard place to be in. Sometimes, though, when you're in a really hard place, someone might come along, right? And they might encourage you a little bit.
Sing a song.
I didn't even have to tell you what to do.
Sing out loud. Sing out strong.
Looks like the music is reaching, Joe.
Sing of good things, not bad.
Knocked him right out of the nest. Good job.
Sing of happy, not sad.
Lifted him right up into the air with the song.
Sing a song. Make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing.
Reunited.
Sing a song.
That's the power of music. Let's all sing.
Canta, canta una canción, canta en voz alta, canta fuerte.
Sing of good things, not bad.
Cosas buenas, no malas.
Sing of happy, not sad.
Alegre, no triste. Canta, canta una canción.
Make it simple to last your whole life long.
Toda la vida.
Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing,
Canta,
sing a song.
canta una canción.
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Brad and Emily. Thanks for that inspiration. This is a community that holds one another in care and compassion through all the roads of life. And we want to lift up some of the sorrows and the struggles that you have shared with us this morning. Debbie Johnson shares this morning that Merle's brother from Atlanta died unexpectedly. Merle, we're so sorry to hear that, and we grieve with you. May his memory be for a blessing. Will you join me now in the spirit of reverence and prayer? Spirit of life, divine breath of nature, God of many names and no name at all. Thank you for the gift of this beautiful community, and thank you for the gift of music and creativity that we share, that you've bestowed on each and every human. For those of us who've been told our creations are not acceptable or worthy, help us to dismantle that soul-killing message. Help us to nurture ourselves into our true birthright of exuberant creation in the image of your exuberant, diverse, and beautiful world. Help us to know that each of us is a gift, and help us to feel that in our hearts, that we're each a unique and irreplaceable facet of your divine diversity. May each of us, all of us together, be encouraged to bring our unique artistic and crafty and musical and every other kind of creation that there is to the altar of this community, where they can be enthusiastically received and embraced with gratitude and with celebration. Where with the help of you and your divine presence, we will weave these creative offerings with those of others of good faith and find our world transformed, amplified, radiated back to us 100-fold. And help us not to stop there, Spirit, but to share our gorgeous creations with the whole suffering world, to speak truth to power, to release pent-up joy in our bodies, to lend courage to our spirits, and to use our God-given minds to imagine and create the world we long to live in. May it be so. Amen. And we also want to let you know that Eva is doing better. We have a message from our virtual folks. We want to let you know that Eva Berge, I don't know how to say her last name, Berge, which is Lori and Wendy Merkin McGee's granddaughter. She's been having some medical troubles and she's doing much better, which is encouraging. We're going to end with the joys that you're sharing with us today. And we want to share that Madeline Rivera shared earlier that Juan and Bjorn are visiting his father in Alabama, and that he is making a road to recovery, and also that today is Juan's 35th birthday. So happy birthday, Juan. And finally, Caleb shares that we heard from Caleb earlier about the importance of music, and there's another important thing that Caleb wants you to know, which is that this coming week is spring break for a lot of people, and he wishes everyone a happy spring break. Thank you, Caleb, and back to you too. So for all of these joys that you've shared and all of those that remain in your hearts, we're here with you. We bear witness. We honor and love you. We're here to accompany you on all of life's journeys.
Music. Perhaps all of us have memories of tunes and songs that if we hear them, even years later, even just the beginning notes, brings back the song and an urge to sing those familiar words or dance as if we were young again. If we live to be old, perhaps even until our minds are not so sharp, yet still, if we hear that music from our youth, bound with emotion, lodged so deep that hearing those songs again brings us alive as if no time has passed.
I was invited to share my thoughts about creativity. As parents, we teach our young children to refrain from certain behaviors, such as don't grab a toy out of your brother's hand, and don't drink water from the dog's water bowl. With my youngest son, Matt, I couldn't possibly cover every instance because it was impossible to anticipate his creative actions. I never said, please don't take the toilet bowl brush and use it to stir the ashes in the fireplace. I didn't think to say, although it's a sweet idea, don't climb on the dining room table and pull out all of the flowers from the expensive artificial floral arrangement to surprise me with a bouquet. His mind worked in unconventional ways. When I arrived home from work, I never knew how Matt would be dressed, as he took on the personality of a different character every day. On long car trips, he didn't take toys along to entertain himself. He had his left hand. Each finger was a character with a distinct personality that interacted with his other finger characters. At the end of kindergarten, his teacher shared her concern that she wasn't sure he should be promoted to first grade. She said he indulged in a lot of daydreaming and didn't do well on the year-end test. She showed me his exam. I could see her concern, so I later asked Matt to explain his answers. The first question instructed the student to circle the item that didn't belong. There was a lemon, a full sun, and an ice cream cone. The lemon and the sun were bright yellow. The ice cream cone was not yellow, but he had chosen the ice cream cone as the answer. Matt explained that the full sun would melt the ice cream and not the lemon, so the ice cream didn't belong. He had, in his own unconventional way of thinking, a logical explanation to all of his incorrect answers. This initiated the 12-year effort by the educational system with my concurrence to teach him to conform his thinking to match the expectations of others. The goal of education is to train workers typically expected to follow the directions of others, not to think outside of the box. Matt is an extreme example, but probably many of us experienced constraints on our creativity growing up. As adults, we typically experience and accept the conformity required in the workplace. Workers with original ideas are often shunned as their suggestions challenge the status quo. Throughout our lives, Americans are typically conditioned to conform and suppress our originality. Should we be concerned that our creativity is stifled as we grow into adulthood? Research indicates that engagement in creative activities improves our mood, improves problem solving, reduces stress, enhances cognitive function, and increases our sense of well-being. We desperately need all of these benefits. Matt, starting in his teen years, strove to be conventional and fit in. Today, at age 38, he displays little of the creativity he joyfully exhibited as a young child. Like many people, Matt believes he's unable to be creative. I have good news. Creativity can be unleashed in all of us. Humans don't need to be taught creativity as a skill. Creativity already exists within us. Engaging our creative perspective is a matter of breaking down the inhibitions we learned as children. Creativity is not a subject that can be taught, but rather it is a way of living, mindfully and authentically. Here are some tips for stimulating your creativity. First, don't be afraid to fail. Toss out the desire for perfection. Relax and indulge your experimentation. Spend time with young children and participate in their fantasies. Stop spending so much time scrolling on your phone. Instead, daydream. Research indicates that laying on your back or walking boosts creative inspiration, especially compared to sitting. Practice looking at ordinary objects beyond their intended purpose and repurpose them in a unique manner. Step beyond your comfort zone. Stretch yourself. Trying new things and pushing the boundaries of your comfort zone can stimulate creativity and expose you to new experiences and perspectives. Spend time with creative and unconventional people. It was easy to find slides, folks, here for that one. And last, and perhaps most importantly in these times, play and explore. And live life fully, your way.
All right, choir, let's stand up. The choir has offered to help lead this one, which I'm going to teach all of you now. Here's how it goes. Ooh, ooh, community, I believe. Your turn. Community, I believe. Community, I believe. Community, I believe. For the world is at war. Well, I'm longing for peace. For the world is at war. Well, I'm longing for peace. In community, I believe. So it's a community, I believe. Let's try it all together. Community, I believe. Community, I believe. For the world is at war. Well, I'm longing for peace. So it's in community, I believe. Ooh. Thank you for singing with us.
We'll be hearing a little bit later from a composer named Frank Ticelli, who wrote, "Music and singing have been my refuge." And I can say the same. Music and singing have truly been my refuge throughout my life, and truly somewhere to begin, no matter what it was that I needed, courage or comfort, inspiration or celebration. Music was always somewhere to begin. I think for many of us, our musical gifts are first nurtured, given somewhere to begin, through a church or a spiritual community. But I didn't have that experience. For me, it was the other way around. Since I grew up unchurched, music and singing felt like my church for most of my life. And then eventually, my choral singing, I find it really, the universe is really like ironic sometimes, right? So the day that we're devoting to singing is the day that I woke up with laryngitis after teaching a workshop yesterday in Cleveland. So bear with me. I've got cough drops and I'll try to make it through. So for me, it was the other way around. Eventually, choral singing delivered me to Unitarian Universalism by way of a circuitous route through a couple of other faiths on my way here. So I have lots of thoughts about the connections between creativity and faith. And I echo Christy's message that we live in this culture that wants us to be consumers and workers, wants us to consume things and behave ourselves, basically, and to pay for that consumption. So any opportunity that we have to be subversive by becoming a maker of something rather than just a consumer or just a spectator feels like it brings some wholeness into our lives. But so many of us have been told that our creations aren't worthy, that we don't have the talent or the expertise or the training it takes to have the right to see ourselves as creators of beauty and joy and all that that brings to our world. But that is not true. I would like to see our culture here in our church and in the wider American culture. I'd like to see us move as far as possible in the direction of encouragement of our creative impulses, the ones that live in each one of us, but that we've been taught to suppress. I would like our singing culture to become about making a joyful noise and not perfection. I want us to throw away the voice of that art teacher who told us that trees are not magenta. I want us to throw away the voice of that choir teacher or song leader who told us that we were singing in the wrong key. I would like us to develop a yes and culture here, taking a page from improvisational techniques, right? Where we amplify and encourage each other and build on each other's gifts. I would like for us to trust ourselves and our responses to the world, to trust that beauty is within us as well as around us. I'd like for us to trust each other as co-creators of the community that we want to live in, with all the life and color and beauty that it can possibly have. Yesterday, I had the joy and also the voice wearing out experience of co-creating a choreo poem with a group of UUs in our community day in Cleveland. And I began the session with some hope, But also, I had some fears and anxieties that the people we were doing the workshop with would feel vulnerable and wouldn't want to take the risks of sharing our ideas with each other because of all these things we've been talking about, because of the ways that we have learned to kind of shut down and behave and just do the bare minimum to get along. But I'm so happy to tell you that those fears were not realized, that we found very quickly an ability to risk and share and be joyful together. We transcended all of that conditioning, and the room was just filled with joy and connection and fun and play. Now, what we created was beautiful and exciting, and we taught it to the larger group. It may not be the greatest thing that anyone's ever seen. It may not set the world on fire. But I would say that the feeling we had when all of our cylinders were firing together and we were playing and co-creating, that feeling will surely set the world on fire if we let it, right? So today, I'm not going to teach you that choreo poem or make you stand up and do an interpretive dance about what Unitarian Universalism means to you. No. But I do think what we can do is today we can find a new way of relating to a piece of music. We can listen to a piece of music by the Tarnished Brass, and we can respond together to it in whatever way feels right for our bodies. So I want to invite you to, the Tarnished Brass is going to play for us this somewhat familiar piece to many of us, Peace Like a River. And you are invited to close your eyes if that makes you feel more free. If it makes you feel insecure or vulnerable, then don't close your eyes. Do whatever you like. And I invite you to move in any way that the music is making you feel. And I'm going to be up here on the chancel doing that. I invite you to do your own thing. Emily's also going to move and groove to the music, but she's going to do it in a more kind of seated fashion. So we'll demonstrate like different ways of engaging for different bodies, right, that have different abilities. Now, you can express the ideas in the music or the ideas in the words, or you can simply respond to how it's making you feel. Whatever you want to do. You can sit or you can stand. And I also want to tell you, you can feel free to borrow one another's ideas, right? This is not about coming up with something that only you can do. So we can even create a wave. Like if you see someone over here on this side of the room that's doing something really great, it could travel all the way to the other side of the room, right? So whatever happens, we're just gonna enjoy this music in a fully embodied way at this time. Okay? Are you ready? Let's try it.
In the spirit of trying something new, we're actually going to tune today.
We invite the ushers to come forward at this time.
Our spiritual community thrives in its shared life of worship and ministry as each of us participate in the circle of giving and receiving. Our special offering for March supports Flashes Fighting Hunger, Kent State University's student-led organization that collects excess food from throughout campus and uses it to provide meals and food distributions for those facing food insecurity. We now give and receive the offering as a sign of our shared commitment to the life and mission of this congregation, and with gratitude for the many, many individuals working to bring this worship service today. And please know this is a safe haven for all of you who would like to stretch yourselves and participate in music.
Frank Ticelli, the composer of this piece, said that when he was writing some of the words for this, he had some trouble he wrote the music first and then was trying to come up with the words. And he was like, I need complete thoughts. And he came up with this: sing, be, live, see. And he said, that's the solution. Sing, be, live, see. And he said, what's cool about this is when we are confronted with problems, they often force us down a path to find a solution that I may not have been able to find without that tension. So he had this creative block, and then out of it came this beautiful song. And so I hope you enjoy Earth Song from our beautiful choir. extinguish the chalice with our words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. So for our closing hymn, it's a familiar song, but we're going to have a few different words. In our first service, we wrote a song together. So we're going to teach you some of the words. I'm just going to call them out to you as we do it. We'll start the same familiar verse. So here we go. Let's all rise and sing together. Same one you know. We are with building a new song. We are building a new song. A new song. That's right. We are building a new song. It's going to be raise your voice and sing along. We are building a new song. Raise your voice. Raise your voice and sing along. We are second. This one's a little trickier. Song connects with imagination, makes my life feel amazing. Song connects with imagination, makes my life feel amazing. All right, let's see if I can. Song connects with imagination. Song connects with we know. We are is our cry. Peace and freedom. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without peace, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. May the song of our worship here together illuminate and strengthen us for these times and the path ahead. May our creativity be a guiding light. May we play and move and sing as one community, a community with vision and persistence, and a deep, abiding love for the thriving of life on this amazing and musical planet. May you go in peace.